close your eyes, running through the night, only takes them back. Always out of sight, crowding through the night. Run, you can run, but you'll never hide. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Extra Time, the final word on the weekend's action. And of course, the game took place on Sunday at Anfield. It ended up Liverpool 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. It was bitter cold. It didn't tell the whole story. We're going to be chewing the fat on all of that. Before I get started, I do want to say a big thank you, as always, to our sponsors of Extra Time, the wonderful Creation Wall for Pound Tonight's and delivering the latest and most advanced digital solutions for your brand. They power Extra Time. They'll take your brand and online presence and digital capabilities to the next level. You can find them on creationwolf.com and the links in the description below. So we have a very interesting panel tonight. You might recognize this fella. Yes, it's Brian in Southampton, who travelled all the way up to Liverpool. You might have seen him on the reaction show. He video bombed us just as we were about to do that. How are you, Brian? Did you get back okay? Are you back in Southampton, and when did you get back?
I got back about, what time was it? About 5:45 tonight, actually, because I was looking after my mother-in-law. She's, I was staying up there over the weekend, and but I've got to get back there for, my wife, I've had a few issues.
Well, yeah, she would like to see you occasionally.
Yeah, she's fine though, Dave. Yeah, she's okay. Yeah, she's fully recovered, I think.
Yeah, she wasn't very well, was she? So we send our love.
Yeah, thank you.
And also, he's not been on for a while, so we're glad to have him back. It is young Scott. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad, mate. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back. You might have noticed there is a little bit of a theme going on with our guests tonight. They have had challenge to sit in front of a white door. And you can see that they have stood up to the challenge. And Scott, how have you been doing, mate?
I've been good. Been keeping well. Yeah, just been busy a lot.
Busy a lot. What you been busy doing?
So recently got engaged.
Congratulations. I saw that.
Thank you.
So we're just McDonald's talking about that.
Yeah. So we've just done
the Creators Cup over the track.
We've just done. We've just booked a room for an engagement party. And then other than that, it's just been work. Work. Well, we'll put you to work tonight, giving you your thoughts. And we're also, I have to say, everyone needs to bow homage. Please make sure we're bowing on. Where are we? Scott, you need to be bowing your homage because we are amazingly being joined by our producer tonight. Emma, how are you doing?
Nice intro. Creep.
Are you well?
Ish.
Well-ish.
Ask me another.
Ask you another. Well, anyway, I'm sure everyone's very happy to see you. We've got Gordon here. Gordon Allen Evans is wishing you congratulations, Scott. Rick says, long time no see. And then there's a load saying hi to Emma. They'll all be going mad because Emma's on. Absolutely fantastic. Well, we've got a great show tonight. We are going to be discussing the following on the show tonight. So let me just give you all that. We're going to be obviously looking at the talking points from yesterday's game, Liverpool 2, Wolves 1. Our fan pundits will be giving their man of the match ratings and their highlight of the day. We will be discussing the wonderful refereeing performance from Mr. Simon Hooper. We have something else that we want to discuss tonight, which was the stewarding at Liverpool, which is why particularly Emma's on tonight and Brian, because they both had experiences with that yesterday. And I'm sure that, and it's some other people that went, we know had the same history. We'll cover that. There's going to be a 150th anniversary Wolves kit update. Loads of you have done the forms. Well over 100 of you, I think nearly 150 of you filled in the form. So I'll give you an update on that and give you some feedback on some of the replies that we've had. We'll be looking ahead to Bournemouth. And, of course, at the end, so if you've got any questions, you'll be able to ask questions of any of the panel or in the individuals. And we have a challenge tonight as well. This is called the Secret Word Challenge. I have tasked our fan pundits with the task of getting in a word into their replies or discussions, a strange word that you in the chat have got to try and find out. I mean, look here, Ellie's going mad for Emma. Carl says smashing the likes, absolutely. No, Sutty's not on tonight. His good mother. It's her birthday, and they're going out for a family meal. So I think he'll probably be on next week. You'll have some time. So look, before we just get stuck onto that, there's something else that just strikes me. Right, we've just gone over 35,900 subscribers, which is amazing. We've just gone past 12 million views, which is incredible. But when I look at the stats, only sort of 35% of the people that watch the channel are actually subscribed, which is crazy, really. So if there's one favour that I would like to ask you, and it's the only favour that I'll ever ask, and I normally leave it till the end of the show, but I'm getting it up front. Hit the subscribe button. Help us get towards that 36,000. That would be appreciated. And don't forget, if you do hit the subscribe button, it means you can join in the conversation live as well. So on YouTube. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. We've already got nearly 300 of you watching across all the different things. So let's. Oh look, JS96 already subscribed. Thank you very much. Yeah, almost at 36,000. So come on, help us get there. We're currently running at, as I'll tell you, as we run this form, we're currently running at 28. Sorry. So look, Scott, I think we should start with you, young man. I think we should start with the Liverpool game yesterday. What is your take out on it?
For me, I didn't honestly foresee us winning. I thought if we were going to spring a surprise, it would be a draw. But I honestly saw a Liverpool win. But the one thing I take away from the game overall is the way we played, especially in the second half. The second half, Liverpool didn't even get a look in. And we were playing the way we want to see Wolves playing. And it was topped off by that beautiful goal by Cunha. First half, there was a lot there that, just sums up our season, really. But the second half, if you think of it about more of a positive view, is that's how good the team can play against one of the best teams in the league. And I hope we don't get relegated this season. I don't think we will. The time will come for that when we play the likes of West Ham and Ipswich. But if we play like we did in the second half in that Liverpool game, we've got nothing to worry about. But you could tell that Victor is, stamping his mark on the team. He's got his way he wants to go about it. He's getting rid of people who don't have any interest in playing for us or don't want to be there for whatever reason. And he's bringing in the players that he thinks are going to do a job. And straight away, like the midfielder, and I'm going to butcher his name now. Is it Munster?
You're at Manetzi.
That's it, yeah.
How I always explain that by our producer, you've got Mon for Monday and Etsy as in like the Etsy channel, Manetzi. That's how I remember it.
Well, I think he's a good signing for us. And even in the small glimpses that we've seen of him, he's not shy in giving it a go, basically, getting stuck in. And that, I think, sums up the way Victor wants his team to be. So, the Liverpool game, second half is what I'll take away from it. Like, I want to see Wolves playing more like that. And if we play like that against Ipswich, against West Ham, we've got nothing to worry about. We will stay up. But this season overall, like it's a mess. And I honestly do believe, and it's the hope that kills you. I do believe that we will survive. But that first half is showed us like if we are nowhere near comfortable, we're nowhere near safe. There's still a lot to work on. But the second half's the hope. Play like that against the teams that matter, we're staying up.
Love it. Brian, let's hear your thoughts. Obviously, you've had time to reflect. Brian was on the post-match show. As I say, he's very hardcore committed. He travels all the way up from Southampton to watch the game, which is, in itself a big commitment because you have to come a long, long, long way even to a home game. But having time to reflect on yesterday, Brian, what's your takeaways? What points would you like?
As I said in one of the other videos, Dave, that when you're at the game, especially behind the goal, you don't get the depth. You can't really see what's happening. And we all said that we didn't know what happened in the first goal. Obviously, you watch it on TV, and you can see that. So there's pluses and minuses. How you want to watch a game. So obviously, if you're not at the game, if you watch on the TV, you can't see what's happening off the ball. Who's making runs off the ball because obviously the cameras have to follow the ball. With all the cameras there now, they sometimes show what's happening on Match of the Day and that, don't they? But yes, yeah. I mean, well, no, I'll come on to that later because you wanted to know about man of the match later. I'll discuss that later. But the goal was a bit of a scramble, wasn't it? I thought it was just going out, from where we were sat. But obviously, what happened was, what's his name, Salah didn't control the ball for once. He didn't. His first touch was awful, wasn't it? It bounced at a really strange height for Totti on his sort of weaker side, and he had to play it, couldn't he? Because if you look at it, if you look on the extended highlights on the the official Wolves channel, you'll see there that he had to go for it because I don't think it was McAllister. I think someone like that was coming in behind him, So it'd have been risky to leave it, So it was just unfortunate, really. And even like the scramble, I mean, it hit his chest in it, and it's a really scrappy goal. And although we weren't outstanding in the first half, by any stretch of the imagination. We often puffed a bit, we had a few attacks, but we didn't really have much penetration. It was the free kick from Kuna. But the thing in the first half, I thought was the poor refereeing. I think it was dreadful. It was absolutely dreadful, wasn't it? I mean, there was a definite push on Agba. He may have been a little bit naive, Agba, because if he'd have probably made more of it, he might have got the free kick. But he was trying to stay on his feet, wasn't he? But it wasn't like a massive push, but it was just a nudge.
It was kind of a nudge in the back, and I think it did make him off balance. I think because where we were watching, obviously we were there at Anfield. Scott, you'd probably watched it on the box, I'm guessing. Me, Brian, Emma, we're all there at Anfield, and the obviously the incident for that goal happened at the other end. So from our perspective, watching it live in the game, it looks like his air guitared it. It looked like his air kicked it. And it's only when you watch it back, the highlights or on Match of the Day, that you actually see that, because in the ground, when we was reporting that there was a nudge, that you actually can see that he has nudged him. And to me, okay, it's one of these things, isn't it? VAR looks at it. Is it a clear and obvious? I don't really know. But if he's nudged into him and he's knocked him off, he's actually gone into his back and he's not nudged into him and it's caused him to miss the ball, then it's interfering in play. And obviously that caused Sarr then to have to react to Agbadou missing the ball. And obviously Diaz is very, very clever. He knows he's not going to score, but he gets his foot on it. Sarr catches him. And then by the letter of the law, obviously, it's clumsy. It's a penalty, isn't it?
Yeah, but on that point, Dave, I mean, it was never going to get overturned for the penalty, for the Sarr challenge, because it was clever. I mean, they all do it. I mean, our players do it as well. All Premier League what footballers do, don't they follow that thing where they dangle their leg there. You know, I mean, years ago, if you did that to someone like in my day, you know, in Norman Hunter or Tommy Smith, you wouldn't have a leg left. You know, you'd took your leg off. You know, if you'd have been dangling it like that. But anyway, we are where we are now.
I was a little bit disappointed with Jota. Emma, on all of that yesterday, you've had 24 hours to reflect on it. The performance, obviously, you're normally behind the camera. Thanks for joining us tonight, much appreciated. And what's your take on what Scott and Brian have said, and what's your point of view on a raise?
I can't disagree with anything really, but I mean, my thoughts are that we've heard Victor Pereira talking about this identity for quite a while, and he's actually only been in post 8 weeks. It seems a lot longer, and I think in 8 weeks he's done a remarkable job because we were in the doldrums. The discipline was shot. And he's come in with a breath of fresh air, and he has instilled discipline. And I think that's one of the key things. That amongst, obviously, there's lots of things that he's done, but for me, he's come in and he is no nonsense, and he's put that discipline back into the team. I can't imagine that he would stand for anyone being late, anyone being on their mobile phones. And at an elite level in the Premier League, all these really little niggly little things and these minor issues of discipline make a massive difference on the field. But he's been talking about the team's identity and what he wants for Wolves for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I think in the second half, we really saw what he wants. He wants aggression, resilience. We were winning the ball back high up the field.
Intensity.
There was so much intensity, and they ran their socks off the whole. You can't knock effort on anyone's part for the whole of the game, but in the second half, in particular, we seemed really focused and going for the jugular with Liverpool. They were really on the ropes.
They were massively on the ropes. I mean, to be honest, as a Wolves fan, I just want to come back on something that Paul says here, which made me laugh. He's on about nearly half of their supporters come from over 50 miles from Liverpool. Do you know what? We stopped off on the services on the way back, didn't we, Em?
We did.
And it was full
It was packed with red.
It was full of Liverpool fans on their way back from wherever they had come from. We were on our way back, obviously, to the... Brian, yeah, you're going to come in there?
I just want to say something on that front, Dave, because me and Chris, my nephew, we were talking in the car on the way back, and when you're walking around the ground outside after the game, and before the game as well, you do see a lot of tourists, you know. Now, I know we have our fair share of South Koreans who come and Chinese who come, you know, many South Koreans. And you can understand from a business aspect why you want to attract those type of people, yeah, because they come and they buy the shirts, and you know, and it's if you go to Tottenham, you can't believe it. There's about 5,000 go there.
When Wolves play Tottenham, it's literally there is about 5,000 South Koreans. I don't have any problem with anyone coming from abroad to come and if they follow a team and support it. Or anything like that, you know, it's kind of nice to see. But I think the point that being made is that pretty much most of Wolverhampton are from in and around the Wolverhampton area, where you do see so many people that are travelling up from wherever they're coming from. And I know you're
not going to pick Wolves from a glamour perspective, are you?
Yeah, and I know it's Brian. I know you come up from Southampton, but you've moved down there, and there will be a lot of Liverpool fans that are the same. But it did seem that it is a bit of a touristy thing.
Sorry, Dave, the point I was trying to make, though, was that, do you remember when the Wolves fans started singing "Where's Your Famous Atmosphere"? And from our perspective, I don't know, it was like on the telly, Scott. I don't know where it came across there. But it was only the cop that were making any sort of noise. I mean, by us, I looked at the sides there, you know, the two sides there. And it was like as if they were like at a theatre, you know, come on, entertain me. And now they've obviously got more than their fair share of tourists. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Mm.
And yes, there's a place for that. There's a place for that. But I think in places like the big clubs, like Man United and Tottenham and Liverpool,
Are they
you're going to
15th,
get
Man United, I think. The
yeah.
big
Oh
six.
yeah, the big
Well,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Our relegation, opponents. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know what I mean. They're a big club, aren't they? You know, they do attract those type of fans. You know, but I just came from that place yesterday, and I thought it seems to have lost its soul. You know, I mean, I don't know whether Liverpool fans, if anybody is
I'd
watching
agree
this,
with you, Brian.
yeah,
I
you know
thought
what?
it was pretty feeble, the atmosphere yesterday, but I didn't think the Wolves fans were particularly loud and proud yesterday
Yeah,
either. We were quite subdued.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair. I've seen them be more raucous and stuff like that. I think we were in stunned disbelief that we were, but all the second half, because Wolves are so dominant, they were in the second half. It was all the other end of the pitch from us as well.
yeah.
It wasn't right. We weren't attacking that end where we were, where our fans were. It was all the other end, and I think that obviously that probably took something away from it. There were moments Liverpool, they sang their they Never Walk Alone anthem. That's always, I think, quite a sight when you're there and you see them with the scarves, and it's great. It's historic and stuff like that. But I think Liverpool. I think you go to sometimes. We've been to Man City in the past. Arsenal in the past, but Arsenal have been quite good the last time we went. I think because but sometimes if you're winning all the time, some of these they go. They just, I don't know. They're just how they expect to roll teams over. And I think unless it's, I don't know what it is, but at points they were loud, but generally speaking, considering how many people were in that stadium, we kept them quiet, and I think they were a bit stunned into shock in the second half, because you could just feel the nervousness of around Anfield. You just thought, well, hold on, this isn't part of the script. Well, this isn't part of the script. We've had a penalty overturned by VAR. What's going on? Okay, they're 2-0 up, so maybe VAR thinks so we can afford to do it. And offside, then Kuna scores, and then Wolves literally. Liverpool. If Liverpool were a boxer, I mean, they'd have won the first half on point because the referee gave it to Simon Hooper. And then in the second half, we've hit them with a slug, and they're on the ropes, and we just couldn't hit that killer blow, could we?
Sorry, Scott, go on, carry on.
I was just going to say, coming through from a TV perspective, even the commentators could tell that the second half was domination by Wolves, and that Liverpool were, not playing the game they wanted to play because we were stopping them. From a fan's perspective as well, you could hear both sets of supporters through the TV. I always hear Wolves wherever, we're on TV. I always hear Wolves, but Wolves were more later in the second half than they were in the first half. But Liverpool wasn't any later than we were in the second half, because if anything, it was just quiet. Like you would hear chanting, you could hear the songs, but not to a level what you expect, from a home crowd, if you know what I mean. But at the same time, adding to the supporters as well. Like from my era, like growing up, Wolves has always been my team. It always will be till the day I die. But as a kid growing up with Wolves in the 90s/early noughts, there wasn't much to watch success-wise. And the one thing that I used to always watch was Match of the Day. And the one team that, I'm probably going to get hate for this, but the one team that I loved watching on Match of the Day was Arsenal. And the reason being was it was just the way they played their football, with Mark Overmars, Dennis Bergkamp, Thierry Henry, David Seaman in goal, Martin Keown in defence. You know what I mean? That Arsene Wenger era, that early era. And that's where I think most of these fans today come from. It's because they grew up on Match of the Day. So they might have a soft spot for their hometown, but they were probably more drawn to whoever they were interested in on the likes of Match of the Day and stuff. This is why the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, I wouldn't include Tottenham in that, but definitely United, got all these like supporters from like my age, if you know what I mean. But there's obviously like if you're true to your family, you're true to what you were brought up in, like you always go with that team, and it was always Wolves for me.
Always Wolves, mate. No, absolutely.
Sorry, Dave, can I just make a quick point there? I actually blame the parents, I do, because when my son came to me one day when he was 7 years old, he's 43 now. When he came to me, he said, "Can I support Liverpool now?" And I said, "Son, you can support whoever you want. Just find somewhere else to live."
That's it.
You know what?
To be fair, where we parked, the chap was an Everton fan.
Oh yeah,
was a Liverpool fan.
This was.
I feel like he'll grow out of it, surely.
When we go to away games, obviously we drive, and we use an app so that we can park. It's people hire out. It's a bit like an Airbnb for drives, basically. Because if you park in a car park, it take your ages. And because when we go to the games, obviously after the match, we try to do the content for you. We're recording the instant reactions. That takes time to do, upload and everything. And so because we always think, well, an hour after the game anyway, you're stuck in a car park. But like we parked on this drive and the guy come out, he was an Everton fan when in fact he had the little Everton logo on his number, didn't he, on his house? And he said two of his sons were Everton fans, and the one that was in the garden with him was a Liverpool fan. And he says, "I just don't know what to do, mate. I just don't know what to do." It was quite funny.
Here's one for you, Dave. Right, my son used to play FIFA on computer, and he'd always play as Liverpool.
Yeah,
this made him a Liverpool fan. Didn't matter what I said to him. Didn't matter what I showed him. He wasn't interested in anybody other than Liverpool. And I remember going up into town onto the high street, and there was like these market stalls on. And there's this massive wooden Liverpool badge, like bigger than A4, I'd say about A5, I think. And he had the Liverpool badge on. And I remember my son came up to me and said, "Dad, can I have this?" And I said, "No, mate, I've only got a £5." And the guy on the stall turned around and went, "Oh, it's only a £5." So then my son turns to me and says, "Well, can I have it then?" So I had to buy it. And I've still got that picture to this day of him holding this massive wooden Liverpool badge. What turned him to be a Wolves fan was the worst game I'd ever been. One of the worst games I've ever witnessed. It was at Molineux. We played Yeovil Town in the cup, and we only got through on penalties. But that game, as much as it was frustrating for me to watch, made him a Wolves fan.
Well, to be honest, because it's when you go to like your home stadium, like Molineux and stuff like that, that becomes real. It's not something on the telly or anything like that. It's real. And I think kids are influenced by a lot of kids at their schools, and it's a cool thing to do. But when they get to a certain age where they get more of an thing, they can move back because you see it, don't you? So I said, I said to the chap, I said, you never know. I said, when they're in the fancy new stadium next season and you attack him, he might change his mind, hadn't he? But to be honest, we were so dominant in the second half. I felt like there was a florist that we could have popped up under, and there was, or there was like little dandelions or things that were popping up all over the pitch and stuff like that because they hardly troubled us in the second half, did they? So go on, sorry, Scott.
No, all I was going to say was like the second half. Like if you're not first time going to a football match, and you see a team play the way we did in the second half, you would be a Wolves fan because that's the way we want to see Wolves play. This has made me laugh, mate. The Wolves fan here has said he could have ended up being a Yeovil fan. Mark Cox says, when my lad was going, I told him Wolves won everything: the FA Cup, Premiership, World Cup, Grand National, Grand Prix. By the time we realised, I was like, it was too late. That is kind of funny. That is kind of funny. That is. Look, we're going to do man of the match performance rating, and then we're going to talk about Simon Hooper. But Lee Moore Windows man of the match, Fox at Shipley performance rating, and your Parkside Dental Care moment of the day. Scott, go with you. Right. Okay. Rating, I would say 7. I'd say 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Just because I think the second half we could have got a point out of it. The finish by Kuna was amazing, and that'd probably be my moment of the day, that finish.
I'll
This was a
take it
beautiful finish.
for that reason. You've given the second half performance a 9 and the first half performance is 5. I'm guessing that's where your balance is.
Yeah, I would say something roughly like that. Yeah, because for me, the second half, look, don't forget, we've seen Wolves, this era of Wolves anyway, play some incredible football. You know, that led us into Europe, and we haven't seen that type of football for a long time. So that second half, I'm not saying it's exactly like it was, but it's like I said before, it's a hope. It's a hope that we can play like that more regular, more consistently. You know, and I think we've got the right manager now to try and get us out of this mess, and hopefully, you know, kickstart us on the campaign next season. That's a lot better. Um, but yeah, that's why I'm rating 7. The moment of the game for me was Kuna's goal. It was a beautiful goal, and that player, like as Wolves fans, we can appreciate a good player, and we know he's probably going to move on to bigger things. But the longer we can keep that lad, the better, because he has been, I would say, the bright light in what's been like a dark time this season for us, even under O'Neill. He was brilliant, but he's just getting better and better with finishing, with his passing, with his moving, he's off the ball game, stuff like that. And what was the other question, by the way?
Your moment of the day, you got your moment of the day.
Yeah.
Performance rating, your man of the match?
Oh, man of the match. Oh. Man of the match.
There's a pause here.
Yeah, I'll give it Kuna.
You're going to give it to Kuna. Emma, let's hear yours, your man of the match performance rating and your moment of the day. I know we're going to come on to your moment not of the day in a bit.
Man of the match. I think there's a few good candidates out there that you could pick, but I think I might go with Bellegarde because I think I think Bellegarde and Manetzi coming on in the second half were key changes that made a massive difference. And I mean, at the one point, he was covering on the wing and covering off Salah. He was just everywhere. I thought he did a really good showing, and he just seems a different player under Pereira compared to what he was under O'Neill.
He's playing in his preferred position. Gary O'Neill used to play him out on the sides as a 3, whereas now he seems to be playing. He seems to have a much more freer role. I mean, the Manetzi chance that he did miss.
Yeah,
the little flick that he did to put him through was so clever from Bellegarde. And I was reading during the game, I looked on the BBC app when there was a break in play for an injury. They were saying that in 20 minutes that he'd been on the pitch at that time, Wolves had made more forward passes. He had made more forward passes and more interceptions and whatever than we had done in the whole of the first half.
Well, there you go. You've just justified my man of the match in Bellegarde.
But it is great because Bellegarde is someone that has had a lot of stick. Gary O'Neill played him a lot, to be fair, and he obviously saw something in training. We were all saying, what has he seen with Bellegarde in training, or what has he got on him? And the performances that you're seeing him now, you can kind of think, well, maybe that's the reason why. But I just think he never trusted him in that position, and now when he comes on, he really made a difference.
Gary O'Neill just tried to get all his best players on the pitch at the same time, and that was his fault because they didn't work together. It's like jamming the jigsaw bits in.
Well, it's like the Bournemouth fan Kurt said, wasn't it? It's like he relies on Gary O'Neill relies on individuals and moments of brilliance, but like that's okay, and you can get that from time to time. But you have to play as a team. Vitor Pereira talks about the team, the identity, what he expects to see. Gary O'Neill, always sort of like there was an excuse. Well, we're playing these, It was very defeatist. Whereas, like even in the press conference for Liverpool, when he was asked about it, he says, I'm not going there to defend for 90 minutes. You know, we'd said we're not going to worry about them. We're going to play our game. And in the press conference after the match, he said, "I didn't see my team in the first half. We gave them too much respect. We were too timid. In the second half, we played
Well, I
with."
don't think we were bad in the first half.
No, we
I don't think we can say that.
So aggressive. We didn't really. We stood off them a bit too much. Second half, Liverpool just didn't know how to handle us because we went man to man, and that is risky doing that. But instead of us giving the ball away, they were making the mistakes, and we were turning over the ball. Anyway, so you've gone with. Have you given a man of the match? Bellegarde, yeah. You got your man of the match, yeah. We just talked about it. What's your performance rating?
I'm gonna go 7.5. 7's not quite enough, is it, for me?
Yeah, I think I went with a 7.
But 8 just seems a bit. When we've lost, 8 just seems too much.
Yeah, had we got that team right, would have pushed it up, like what Scott said. Yeah. And your moment of the day?
I think it's going to be the Cooney goal. I mean, great goal. Premier League have actually put out today that Cooney's the player with the most goals this season from outside the box.
And we never scored any goals from outside the box at all last year, apart from Tommy Dawes in the FA Cup against Brentford.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, so it's great. But Cooney's goal is the one for me.
Now, Brian, if you've watched the reaction yesterday, you'll probably know what Brian said. Have you changed your mind on anything, Brian?
Yeah, slightly. I did qualify that on one of my posts today on one of your other videos. That I had a look at the the highlights and that various places, and because somebody I think was calling me out about choosing Totti, but just because that once it wasn't a howler of a mistake, was it? He was, he was caught off balance by Salah not controlling the ball properly. But it was just one of those things, wasn't it? Really. But that one mistake doesn't negate all the rest of the things that he did in the game, and he was excellent, as he has been in virtually every game. Well,
now Totti Gomez is another player that's had a lot of stick, and he's not good enough, like Bellegarde. And Totti Gomez, the one thing you get with Totti Gomez, you get enthusiasm. He's almost like Rodrigo Gomez. Rodrigo plays with such passion and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Gomez will always give you 100%, and he has had to adjust. He looks great at that left-sided position. He will try and bring the ball out. How many times? Couple of times a game, we'll see him dribbling the ball out, which players don't expect. He's good in the air as well.
Dave, you're taking the words out of my mouth. I was just coming on to that.
Go on then.
Yeah, one thing I think that Vito's done is he's encouraged the likes of Totti and Agba to carry the ball out, and by doing that, that's another way of playing through the lines. When you're playing a press, the idea of playing. I know I keep referring to fannying about at the back. It's a nightmare sometimes, isn't it? We pulled our hair out sometimes, haven't we? About it. But they all do it. All the Premier League teams, even the Championship sides, try to do it. We've always said, like, it's all right if you've got players like Man City and Liverpool, and whatever. But sometimes, just go along. But and did you know? I don't think you saw the Man City game. The amount of times they went long Saturday, it was unbelievable. And I thought, we had 2 assists. Keep it in, on Saturday. But anyway, so you've got to vary it, yeah. But I think Vito's variation is for them to push forward, like they were doing in the second half. Agba and even Doc as well does it as well. But so I like that. That's a really good point. I like that. And then, but even so, and also those little passes that Agba was doing to Gomez and Andre. Those little, almost like no-look passes they were, weren't they? It worked in the second half. It definitely worked. He obviously you know, had a massive influence at half time, didn't he, Beetle? Because of the way we came out. But
I think Vitor Pereira said it, has basically said to him at half time, you're paying them too much respect. You need to, you need to be more intense and more. And the one thing I liked about, we saw this back in the day, we saw it back in the day when I remember Wolves played Newcastle, Eddie Howe made half-time changes. I remember when we were playing Villa away, Unai Emery made changes at Villa. And we saw it. Vitor Pereira wasn't afraid to take 2 players off at half-time and bring 2 players on. And he's proactive. It's more. Gary O'Neill was always so reactive to everything. He just think, oh well, like he will make a change, and I think I like that. And I also think I love his honesty, and I think he draws a nice line how he talks about the players and talks about. He's very honest, and obviously the players seem to be buying into that honesty, and they all do seem now. We do seem like they're bothered and they're playing as a team.
Yeah. Just while we're on the man of the match, I'm going to stick with Totti, but as Emma said about Bellegarde, and you called this out yesterday, Dave. I noticed he didn't. I knew he set the goal up for Kuhn, that little back heel he was superb, but he was an influence point from the first seconds of the kickoff for the second half. I mean, he nearly set Kuhn up, didn't he? It just got deflected into Alisson's arms. And then that little flick to Minetti. It was out of this world. But that is all about confidence, isn't it? It's all about confidence, and I think Vitor's given him that confidence. It's no coincidence, is it? That he seems to be a different player in the last few weeks. I mean, he was outstanding against Villa. He wasn't bad against Blackburn, was he? Really. But I mean, that performance yesterday. On TalkSport, when I was driving back this afternoon, I had TalkSport on, and what's the guy's name that comes on at 4 o'clock? Adrian. It's not Adrian. What's his name? A Man United fan. He did it with Darren Bent.
You're not on about Goldberg, are you?
Goldberg, yeah. He had well, he's a Man United. He had a Liverpool supporter come on, but when we talk about the game yesterday, they were talking about someone else. And he actually said, look, I'm afraid this with gritty teeth, he says, you are probably the best team in the world at the moment. And I almost punched the air. I thought, we've just dominated what he thinks is the best team in the world. And they didn't have a shot on target. An offside goal is not a shot on target.
For the first time at Anfield since 2017.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, I mean, that's how good our second half performance was. It was outstanding, really.
Reflections has made a good point here. John Rittner Bellegarde is like having a new player. It
Yeah,
really is. It's like we signed him in the January window. Yeah. He's had a soul transplant and Messi's turned up in his place or something. I don't
know. Absolutely, yeah. But I'm going to stick with Totti because I thought, apart from that goal, I know it was a goal, but I mean, apart from that, he was outstanding. But Liam Keane. Yeah, I don't think you saw the marks. I didn't see all of it because I don't subscribe to that, but I just saw it said 3 4s, and one of them was for Agba. He gave Agba a 4 for that game. Come on. I mean, okay, he's entitled to his opinion, but
I don't know how you managed to read any of it because, most of it's behind a paywall anyway.
Yeah, it was just at the top. It was just right at the top, and then it cut off, and it was. I thought, Agba. Oh, what are you talking about? Anyway,
just on that, I am going to give a definite plug. Alwayswolves.co.uk. We've got a team of absolutely fantastic writers. They do match reports, things learned, deep dives, funny articles, player ratings, all these sort of things. We even have a fans, all of that. And it's not, you do not have to, it's not behind a paywall or anything like that. You can just go on. It's free to read, and it's written by the fans as well. So I do want to say a big thank you to all of our writers that do that for us. But if you've not been on, bookmark alwayswolves.co.uk because there's some really good stuff that goes on there, and there's articles daily, even articles about the under-21s as well. We've got a team that reports on the under-21s. If you want to find out more about what we've got coming through, there's some good articles on that too, and Wolves women, I should say, as well.
Could
Brian,
do with the writing the Wolves women.
You are? Oh, yeah. Go on, Emma. Do you want to do a plug?
If there's anyone that wants to write some reports or bits and pieces on Wolves women, please get in touch.
Emma does the website. She uploads all the blogs. She liaises with all the writers. So if you want to get in touch, even if you want to do video reactions and what have you, then get in touch with admin@alwayswolves.co.uk. Admin@alwayswolves.co.uk. And Emma will probably put that in the chat. Brian, yeah.
So my rating, I'm going to stick to what I said yesterday: 6.5 for the first half and 8.5 for the second, and 7.5 overall. But I'm going to change my moment of the day because I'll just mention it, Bellegarde, and you can't see this on any of the highlights I've looked at. But Scott would have seen it probably when he was watching the live game yesterday. And my moment of the day was Bellegarde running back, giving Salah 2 yards start and catching him off and winning the ball. That was my moment of the day.
Yeah, yeah. This is what I like. I just like the fight, and he's shown he's up for the fight. And I think other players are. Now, listen, we're going to come back and we're going to talk. We're going to have a quick thoughts on the referee, Mr. Simon Hooper. We'll come back with Emma, but I do need to bring up. I'm going to just load into the chat a few. Here we go.
Hey Dave, Dave in the Upwells here.
International fans.
So I'm coming to you from the Bahamas, a little cheeky long weekend Valentine's Day cruise. Man, we lost at Anfield by 1 goal, didn't do too much damage to the goal difference. I think that's what we should take away, in a really good second half performance after hanging on a little bit in the first half. But that was so frustrating. Simon Hooper should never referee a match again. I lost count of the number of yellow cards he let Liverpool get away with. I think there were 3 on Konate and 2 on Diaz. So you can argue they should have been down to 9 men. And they shove in the back for the penalty, which we all know that if the roles were reversed, that penalty would have been overturned. And guess what? It turned out being the winning penalty. So just usual, officiating frustration. But we're still out of the relegation zone. Really good fight back in the second half. Played really well. Good subs by Pereira. Menezes needs to learn how to score really quickly. I swear he should have about 7 goals for us in 2 games now. So that's a bit concerning. He really should have scored that one-on-one, and we had a few other good chances. So a little bit of our own worst enemy in a way, but certainly that officiating first half was just so frustrating. So anyway, didn't get a point. A point would have been nice to just increase the gap to the bottom 3, but we're still out of the relegation zone. We're looking like we're starting to play well. Phenomenal goal from Cunha. And on to, I don't remember who it is next weekend, but up the Wolves.
This is Chris from Eidsvoll in Norway. I'm speaking after the narrow 2-1 defeat to Liverpool, which in the end, I always think, what do I want to see from a Wolves performance? What do I accept? What's the least I accept? The least I accept when we are coming up against a team like that. Well, probably the best club side in the world at the moment. That's fair enough to say. Is that we show courage, we fight in the game, and we try hard to show a bit of quality, which were all the things that we didn't show under Gary O'Neill. Now you can see a couple of months into Vitor Pereira's tenure that we do possess those qualities now, and that's room for optimism in itself. Breaking the game down, I think first half, we weren't quite at our best first half. Has to be said that, referees haven't been so much as a theme this season as in the previous 2 or 3 seasons, but that is as one-sided a refereeing performance as is possible to see in that first half. You could see he had lost respect for the Wolves players because of the decisions he was giving. It was seeing similar challenges from Liverpool players and Wolves players that had happened the other way around before, and he was coming to different outcomes and conclusions, which is why players and fans alike do get frustrated. At the same time, I'll be honest with you, we did give 2 poor goals away from defensive mistakes. At the same time, I just don't think that's enough to give a penalty. I can see why the referee actually gave that from his angle, but VAR should have shown that there wasn't enough contact to go down in that way. And Salah's not going to give us a penalty. 2-0 down at half time, it looked like it was going to be a very, very long afternoon. However, changed at half time. And another thing, if I'm going to go onto the Pereira, with against Gary O'Neill argument, is good changes at half time. Changes that change the game. Manetzi, he's got something, hasn't he? He really did change the game. And Bellegarde kept up his recent good form. This time, playing slightly further right in the midfield, but at the same time, we're still operating fairly centrally, and it's clear to see that's Eddie's best. They made a difference. All the changes made a difference, and we came out with a much more of more intensity and positivity in the second half, and we got it back to 2-1 with a superb goal from Kuna, and really we were very unlucky not to get a point from that game. As a Wolves fan, we don't expect to go to Anfield and win. With Liverpool like this, we don't expect to win every game. But what is the minimum we expect? That we show courage, we fight, we show a bit of quality, and they did all that today. Of course, you never want to lose, but keep it a bit of perspective. There's nothing really to be unhappy about that performance and the way the game was managed by the manager. And in all honesty, watching other Premier League games, the other clubs who are in danger of relegation, the kind of quality we show today, they don't have that. That's why I do believe we will stay up, and I think maybe fairly comfortably. But we've got some winnable games soon. But nothing too much to worry about today. Yes, we lost. We don't want to lose. But if there's a way to lose, and there is a way to lose, I'll say, having been involved in sport all my life, there most certainly is a way to lose. And they gave everything today. And you really can't have anything too negative to say about it.
Fantastic. We do have another video reaction that's sent in, which we'll put on in a bit. But first of all, I do know that Emma is itching to talk about the referee from yesterday, Mr. Simon Hooper. What would
Why
you
am I
like
itching to talk about Simon Hooper? I want to forget about him.
You want to forget about him?
Yeah. Well, he's the same guy. He's the ref that was in for the, was it Anana's foul on
United game? Yeah.
The United game. He was the ref on the field for that, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
apology for
rugby tackled him and didn't give a penalty.
But I mean, what can I say? 2 fouls by Liverpool players, resulting 2 yellow cards for Wolves for dissent.
This is Emma's ref.
He's been on the Dandelion and Burdock, I reckon.
Right, okay, yeah. So not a big fan then yesterday.
No.
Scott, you got
I just think he's not cut out for Premier League He's not cut out for refereeing. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Scott?
I don't really want to waste my time talking about him, but what I will say is when he gave that penalty against us where Jota clearly dived, he's got players running up to him, speaking to him, and he's adamant in his decision. And then he gets told to go and look at his camera. Soon changed his mind because there's literally no contact. It's a clear dive.
2 yards away. He was itching to give the penalty. He was just itching to give it.
Yeah. He was quick to point there.
And then like a naughty schoolboy, he was made to go to the screen. And go on, Emma.
I did think on the day it was a penalty, but from the angle we were at, directly in front,
we were to the right of the goal on row 3, so it would look like that.
It did look like a penalty, but the ref was behind. He got that view that you've seen on the camera of him completely missing him.
Yeah, where the ref was and where the incident happened, he's got clear view of that. So if there is any contact, the ref would have seen it. And he's pointed really quickly, didn't even hesitate, straight to that spot. But when you see the replay, even the commentators suddenly changed. Like at one point, like the commentator I was to, I didn't have the Jamie Carragher crap that was on. I was listening to a different commentator, and at first he was like, "That's definitely a penalty." As soon as he saw the replay, he changed his mind. He was like, "No, there's no contact there. Jota's dived," but he didn't even book Jota, and he should have booked Jota for that.
Yeah, because if you see it, he misses him, and then Jota's gone past, and then he sticks his foot out into him, which was disappointing from Jota, really.
Let's put it this way: our lad's already down on the floor when Jota's gone and pursued that dive. If you know what I mean. So, like when you see the initial challenge, Jota should have gone down halfway through that challenge. Our man's gone past him already, and then Jota dives.
Yeah,
it's clear as day it's a dive, and he never got booked.
Yeah,
and that just sums up the refereeing. That just sums up the refereeing of that individual, but also the refereeing as a whole in Britain. Because I do believe we have the worst refs in the world.
Which is a shame. Brian, quickly, your take on that?
Well, you know, there's lots of debates about other refs. You know, not just Steward, you know, on the radio as well. So, you know, there's always an incident every weekend, isn't there? It's debated, and a lot of the media, they're sort of like gang up and like defend them to the hilt. You know, these people. You know, oh, they're not doing it. You know, there's no such thing as unconscious bias. Well, there has to be. There has to be unconscious. It's either unconscious bias, or he was inept, or he is inept, and I think he's inept because it was pathetic. When I mean, why didn't he book Jota? You know, it was simulation. That's it. It had to be booked. And if you actually look at it, you can't. There's no angle, you see. But when Agba's missed him, he sort of like, I don't know. That's how he did his injury, but he sort of like curled up, didn't he? Like he's trying to get his leg out of the way. I don't know. That's how he got his injury because he put his arm up straight away, didn't he? That he felt something go, and we'll come on to that later. But if you look at the slow motion replay, Jota once again, when he's gone past him and he realised he's missed him, he's dangled his leg and he's actually hit Agba's back. He's actually kicked him in the back. You know, you know, I mean, you could have had 2 bookings for that. Kicking him out of simulation. You know, but anyway, so my opinion is he's just inept. Yeah.
Inept. Well, we'll look forward to getting Simon Blooper. We should rename him from Simon Hooper to Simon Blooper, I think. We're going to come back because we do want to talk about the stewarding yesterday at Liverpool, and we want to see if anyone else has had these incidents. But before we do that, another fan has sent in a video reaction. So let's see what they've got to say before we move on to the next one.
Hey Dave, Noah here from Monterey, California. So it ends Liverpool 2, Wolves 1 at Anfield. It's definitely not the worst match I've seen Wolves play. It was a battling loss, relatively speaking, and today was really kind of a free hit for Wolves. The results went our way, thankfully, on Saturday, so we didn't really need to worry too much about getting anything from this game, thankfully enough. You know, we'll have to see what happens next weekend as well, but it doesn't really get any easier, does it? Because we have to face Bournemouth. That said, for this weekend, you know, I thought we did fight, we did battle, we did so much better in the second half, really. 10 shots to 0 in the second half. The first time since Liverpool have had no shots in a second half, either in the Premier League at Anfield or just in the Premier League in general. I'm not quite sure, but either of the two, you know, that's the first time that's happened for Liverpool since 2017, which is insane. So we really should have gotten something from this. Of course, the biggest chance, I feel, honestly, was Munetsi. He was through on goal and just couldn't put it past Alisson. So that's about the third or fourth opportunity now that Munetsi has had that he hasn't been able to finish in his in his Wolves shirt. It'll come eventually. But he does have to score there. And then Cunha did get us the lifeline in about the 72nd minute. Just I mean, unbelievable. Beakerfoot too. I mean, what's more to say? He's absolutely incredible. Feel like other than that, let's hope Agbadu's okay. Did go off at halftime. I also think Simon Hooper was atrocious today, but what's new, relatively speaking? But it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, overall, not the worst match I've seen Wolves play, thankfully. So yeah, again, on the next weekend against Bournemouth, and hopefully maybe we can squeak a point out of that and be able to stay out of the bottom three next weekend. Cheers, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekends, and always Wolves.
So yeah, Simon Hooper coming up with the same sort of themes, which is really interesting to see. Now, we want to come on. I know, Brian, you've got something to say on this. We also know that this also affected charismatic Craig's wife, Jo, and we saw it happening to a lot. But Emma, the stewarding at Liverpool yesterday, aside from the fact that when we got in the goal, they were trying to get everyone to sit down in the standing in the Wolves' end, which was never going to end well. Getting into the game was a bit disgraceful, really, wasn't it? The way the whole thing.
I'll be completely honest, it really upset me and it spoilt my day completely. For the whole of the first half, I was absolutely seething. And I'm still seething now, if I'm honest. What actually happened was there was really heavy-handed stewarding in the away end. If you've been to an away game, you know you're pretty much herded in like cattle. There's metal barriers, there's a big group of you, you go through security and then you get to the turnstiles. We did just all our normal procedure, but as I got to security, I was told that I couldn't take my handbag in. And
how big's your handbag? I mean, it's not
it's
big.
just a small bag that's
about
been
about as big as an iPad.
Possibly about, yeah, similar size to an iPad, I would say.
About that size.
Yeah.
So that looks
so
big on
it's
screen,
not huge. It's a tiny bag. And as a lady, most ladies carry a handbag. And this bag has been in every single Premier League ground for the last couple of years. And I've never had any issues getting in. But on this occasion, Liverpool staff would not let me into the ground. And my handbag went in the bin.
They said we've got a church that we can take it to, which was we just queued like 25 minutes to get to the turnstiles, and then they wanted you to go back and put the handbag in a church. And it's like, well, if we do that, I'm not going to get in for the game. And
but what I will say as well is I did feel that the stewarding was overzealous, and they almost enjoyed it. I did feel like they were getting off on this sort of power trip of whatever they were doing. I just thought it was really badly handled. But the other thing is, you're going into a football match, it's really hard to argue a case and not be put down as a troublemaker and get denied entry at all. So you can't really argue and say whatever, because they'll just say you ain't coming in.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's saying. The other thing is as well, there were other, like Craig's wife, Jo, who we went with. She had a little zip-up bag. What is it like?
I'll tell you about Jo. Jo had, like a drawstring sports bag that's fabric. She had a drink in there. They wouldn't let her take the drink in, that's fine. And they said the bag couldn't come in. But once the bag was emptied, it's just, like a kid's PE kit bag, fabric. She could fold it down to really small and put it in a pocket, and they still wouldn't allow that. It had to go in the bin. They wouldn't let her put it in a pocket and take it in.
Brian, I think, did you have an issue or something with it as well?
Yeah, just while Emma was talking there, because we had a conversation on WhatsApp, me and Emma did today about this. Well, I've just brought up where it did say A5, but it's really about. I took me all the time when we was talking. I was looking for it. It's actually on the ticket, not on the email. It was on the ticket, on the electronic ticket, and then you have to do the old three little dots on the right hand side, and in there it tells you like about halfway down. I mean, you're really going to go and read this, aren't you? But funny enough, I did read it, and it said A5. Now everywhere else, it's A4.
Yeah.
A4, which would easily cover most things.
Except for Man City, they're small as well.
Is it right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, what happened to my nephew? He's there with his lad, and he's got one of these backpacking bags, that he got in Australia. And it literally folds up, and there's nothing in it, to the size of a handkerchief. You can put it in your pocket. So he's got it there, and he's like wrapped it up, so it looks like it's A5. And the guy said, "Oh, let's have a look at that." And there was like just a ham roll and a bag of crisps and I think it was a dandelion and burdock drink he had in there, which he had to drink, before he went in. And then they looked and they said, "Oh no, you can't bring that in." And I said, "Well, so all the stuff that was in there that was, what you'd be worried about, what's in the bag, he put it in his pockets and that, and put them in there." But the strange thing is, we got in. Going back to the stewards as well, they were shouting at us, "Gentlemen, unzip your coats before you're not doing it when you get there." What the bloody hell? How long does it take to unzip your coat? But what's this cost? It's freezing cold here, mate. It could be like 5 minutes before we get to the guy who's gonna search us. Anyway, but yeah, that was another thing. But when we got inside, Chris bumped into a friend of his with his lad. Same thing. And lo and behold, he's got a bag in his hand, exactly the same as Chris had. I said, "Well, how do you get that through?" He said, "Oh, I can't remember his lad's name was." He says, he's got an inhaler and it's in the bag." And he says, "So because that was in the bag, they put a tag on it, like a security tag. You have like in airports and that. And he was allowed to bring the bag in." Well, the ironic thing is Chris is asthmatic, and he got his inhaler in his pocket.
It's a joke, absolute joke. And
I do think consistency was the real major issue, is that they weren't consistent across the board. It depended who you got. The ladies stood next to us in the ground. They both had handbags, similar sort of size to mine. One was probably bigger than mine, and they were young and pretty, and I'm clearly not. And they got their bags in. They never even got questioned. They just got orange tags put on.
I know they said it was disgraceful as well, and we saw other things. So it was very inconsistent. And as regards to Paul, Emma, you made a comment about this. Did the tourist fans with the merch from the club shop?
Oh, they allow Liverpool bags in from the shop. You can take as many as you want in, crammed with as much stuff as you want.
Yeah, it does say that there. I'll read it out. It says LFC Superstore clear carrier bag containing Superstore purchases only.
But
those bags will be subjected to a bag search on entry point. Yeah, that's what it says on
but like them bags are bigger than any of the bags that we take in. It's just complete joke. And can
I just make my point? My big point is consistency. It's got to be across the board, the whole of the ground. But I felt as away fans, we were second-class citizens.
You are
there was an aggression to it.
You are making a complaint, aren't you, Emma? Or you are doing something about it.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris also had a conversation with this guy who confronted him and that, and he said, "Well, this isn't the same everywhere else." He says, "Yes, it is." He says, "We go to loads of away games. I've been to Wembley 3 times this year to NFL games." He says, "And you can take a bag in, a backpack in." And so the guy was obviously just making it up. But one other thing I wanted to say, I went to Man United to watch the under 18, the FA Youth Cup semi-final about 3 years ago, and I went on the official coaches, and I got a bag with me, and as I was queuing in, I mean, there's only like two ends of the ground open, but this guy came up to me, very, very nice bloke. He just said to me, "Excuse me," he says, "that bag's a bit too big to take in." I said, "Oh, I didn't realise that." And I said, "Look, I've just got from Southampton, you know." I says, "Where am I going to put it? I've got nowhere to put it." And he says, "Oh, we've got these like left luggage things you have in airports and some train stations. We've got those at United, and I don't think you even have to. You put a pound in, and it's like a swimming pool, with a locker. You get the pound back." And they got all that set up at United. I mean, fortunately, I didn't have to do that because the guy let me in anyway. I mean, it's a youth club thing. But but uh, but if they're going to do this, that's what they should have, don't they? They should, I mean, so hopefully Emma's correspondence will have
You
some
know
effect
your way
on
around it, Emma. You just put an inhaler in your bag.
Yeah.
that.
Just get an empty inhaler and put it in your bag, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's how you get that's the loophole. But like,
The thing is, if you are travelling on the train or whatever, I mean, as a lady, I'd need a handbag with things in. I'd want a mobile phone charger. I'd want certain things that would ensure my safety. That I can stay in touch with home. My phone.
Well, I very often come up on the train, and I've got my man bag.
Your man bag.
It's about well, I've got my Kindle in there, and my iPad and stuff there. I want to read on the train and that, and well, if they adopted that at Wolves, then I'd have to come with nothing really.
Anyway, it's an issue that was affected a lot of people yesterday that went to the game. I mean, we've just talked about a few. We're not the, our experiences, and then those are just people we know, and a lot of other people must have had this experience. I think it was very, very poor from Liverpool. There was no real logic to it. It was like, and Emma ended up having to put her handbag in a bin and throw it away, which I don't know how much the handbag cost. It wasn't one of your most expensive ones because you've got some proper nice ones.
Trust me, I wouldn't have left one of my nice handbags. I would have missed the match.
But
you're still talking 40, 50 quid.
And that's it. And they didn't give a crap. They didn't care. And when I started to question it, it was like, if you start arguing, we're not going to let you into the ground. And so you've just traveled, you've got nowhere to go, so it's something that needs to be dealt with. Anyway, we're going to move on from that on to the next subject, which is, if I can remember it, the 150th anniversary kit update. So thank you for all of you guys that got involved with this. You can still fill this form in, which I will put in the link. You can still fill it in. So I'll put it down there for you. And we'll give you an update on what's happened. So this form, share the screen, show the form. So we did this form, which was about, if you've missed anything, the 150th anniversary kit, which is for the 2026-27 season, where we asked you a few questions, most memorable home kits, which put pictures up there, most iconic moments in the club's 150-year history and why, what logos you would like to see, would you like it for a one-off game, what sort of fabrics, colours, stripes, and anything else. So we went to Molyneux, and to Molyneux. There's about 40, 50 fans there. It was at the museum. It was very interesting. Peter, we went through all the history of Wolves from the kits and stuff like that. The main guy, account manager from Sudu/Levy merchandising was there. Nice chap. They talked through the process of designing the kit. and how long it takes. So now, for those of you that don't know, next year's kit is already sorted. It's already
in
done.
production.
It's already in production, because the idea stage for the 2026-27, which is why they're talking now, is it started in November. It runs through to the end of March. And then it goes to the prototype stage, and then it goes to full design stage, then it goes to manufacturing. They did say that they don't fly anything across. When they bring the kits over, they do it by boat because it's part of their eco thing. So obviously it uses more environmental. It takes 2 months to come, but there's an whole 18-month period. So at the moment they're in the idea stage, which is why because it's the 150th anniversary, they're doing consultations, getting ideas from fans and stuff like that, and it was quite interesting. Once we did that, we were then split off into 3 groups for brainstorming and presented ideas. But I know that the trust had done a form, we did a form, and these are some of the I'm going to show you some of the responses that we've had on our form, because we do try and be transparent here on Always Wolves. So people gave we had loads of responses, so you can kind of see here people talking about the most memorable away kits. These are the summaries going through there. There's all different things on the history, 1950s, League Cup wins, all these sorts of things. If I go to the questions here and then the responses, hopefully I can go to a question. Hold on and show you. They do break it down into, there is a graph, if I can find the graph. Where's the graph? Got so many responses, as you can see here. And there's lots of responses for each one of these, like the different things. The home shirt, I think, got the colour right. People talking about the 93, 94 kit, the 50s kit. There's loads of things that's on there. And loads of people.
Can I just say something? At the meeting, they showed us what old gold really is.
Yeah.
And I was horrified. It's like this really pooey brown colour.
Yeah, they were talking about the colour of the kit. So, like, the first old gold was like more of a brown. And then obviously
brown
gold. And obviously, we all know that when it comes to the colour of the kit, depending on what you say, there's a big split. There was a big split about the badges. Some people like to bring the old Wolf Town crest back on the kit. There's a lot of other people that like the 70s crest. There's things that were talked about, like in terms of like the away kits and how it can be done. Interestingly enough, you can't have multiple badges on your kit because of the Premier League rules and obviously the brand. So there's a lot of feedback. There's a lot of conflicting things. So we've sent all that over to Wolves and to Levy from all your feedback, so they can take what they want out of that. And it was a very interesting thing. So I think it's quite good that they are consulting, getting feedback from various different sources, and then obviously I don't know whether we'll get invited back to another thing, but like they'll put more ideas and stuff like that. But just want to say thank you ever so much for your contributions, and we just want to. That's as much as we know really, because we don't know what the kits look like for next year. We're not privy to that information. We don't know what the kits are for 2027. All we can do is there's a lot of fans that have inputted ideas, and they'll take a lot of ideas from that. Scott, you got any thoughts on that?
The only thing I would say is, like, for me, my first ever kit was the Goodyear kits, and I'm talking like, when you had the badges on there, you had the big F and C in white on the badge, the Wolves head. That was probably the first kit I had where the actual kit itself was the badge, if you know what I mean. Don't know if I'm describing it right. That was my first ever kit, and I've always had a soft spot for that kit. So if we were to get something similar to that again, it would be amazing. But for me personally, we're one of the founding members of the Football League. One of the reasons why European football is what it is today. So if we're going to do a kit to honour our legacy in this game, 150 years, it's got to be something special. And it's got to be old gold, but hopefully not the brown that Emma described.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting. Actually, our first ever kit was blue and white hoops, not red and white. Actually, I think when we, our first ever kit.
Yeah, the blue and white hoops, I actually think was St. Luke's school PE kit.
Yes, if I show you this screen again now, and I'll show you that. Look, if you look there, 1877 to 1883, it was blue and white hoops. God knows why.
That'd be a nice idea for like an away kit, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't have that as the first kit again now.
White hoops and stripes. It's a bit similar to Albion, so there's a bit of a in the thing about that. But there's all the kits there, obviously all different colours and away kits and stuff like that. So there's lots to come out of that. And then obviously you then got the talk about the badges and the town crest came up. The 70s, especially the 3 leaping wolves came up. So that we'll see what they do with them. But I think it is positive because the thing is, I know fans say every year, let the fans decide on the kits. But the problem is with that, you've got like 30-odd thousand fans and you've got 30-odd thousand different opinions. It's like it's hard to get a consensus. Even on the colour of the shirt, it causes so much. Well, that's not proper. That's not old gold. But someone else will go, well, that ain't old gold. And then what you're saying, old gold. Then someone else say, oh, like, so like you got the orangey gold, you got the brighter gold, which actually, if you go back to the 40s, is the same color. And then you've got the really dark brown. So it's just whatever. But we'll see what they come up with. But I think it's good that they're trying to come up with ideas. Lots of fans were inputting about how they can celebrate the year with ideas as well. So I'm sure things will come out of that. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update because we did ask you to input, and I wanted to give you a little bit of update on that. So hopefully, as always, trying to be as transparent as possible. We're not privy to any of the designs or anything like that. We've just gone along with a lot of other fan groups and fans to give some input, and we wanted to try and reflect you guys on the channel with your input. So everyone that's filled in that form, that's gone to Wolves, that's gone to Levy, it's gone to Sudo for them to take out of it what they can. And like Sarah says, like Scott said, you have a soft spot for your first shirt, and I think Merv said that as well. By the way, whilst I'm on to Merv is one of our longest standing actual members who supports the channels as a channel member, which we really lovely guy. We've got
my birthday twin.
And your birthday twin, and he has now become our official second admin behind Emma to help Emma out. So thanks ever so much, Merv. So like Merv is also monitoring the chat and has the power to kick and ban too. But everyone's been very well behaved tonight, which is good. Merv says thanks. I've had my Borg implants upgraded. I love it. So so the next section of tonight's show is a look ahead to Bournemouth, and then guys, it's question time for you guys to ask questions. So I'm going to go around and ask the guys their thoughts on the Bournemouth games coming up, and then you can ask questions. So Scott, Bournemouth next week in the league. We got them in the cup the following week. What's your thoughts ahead of that one?
It's going to be a tough game. Bournemouth this season have been quite good, and like I said to you about like the Liverpool game just gone, if we play like we did in the first half, Bournemouth have got to win, an easy win from us. But if we play like we did against Liverpool in the second half, we might actually shock Bournemouth and come away with a decent victory here. don't know if we could do it 2 games in a row against them with the cup. But to be honest, like I would love a cup run. Like I think everybody wants a cup run. So
My dad
if we were to
definitely
lose,
wants to go to a final. He's 88 in March.
if we lose in the league, I'll accept it if we win in the cup. But to be honest, like it's a tough one because Bournemouth are a team. Like anybody who's been to Bournemouth, you know their ground's not the greatest, especially their like. I don't know if anybody in this chat travels with the Haverton Wolves, but we always get dropped off outside of this one pub in Bournemouth, outside on the outskirts of Bournemouth, and anytime any Wolves fan goes in there, the landlord loses his head. He kicks us all out. Doesn't want us in there because he's a Port Vale fan. Don't get what he's got against us, but he just won't have a single Wolves fan in his pub. Like he's even gave. I've heard stories where he's gave like fans their money back when they bought drinks because he doesn't want them in there. But it's going to be a tough place tough team to play against. It is. It's going to be a tough team to get something out of. Huh?
Score prediction.
If we play like we did in the second half, 2-0 Wolves. But if we running around like dandelions in the wind, like we're going to be shocking, and we're going to get destroyed by them because they are a good side. But if we keep our heads on, and we play like we did against Liverpool in the second half, 2-0 win. And if we do it again in the cup, even better.
Love it, Brian. Obviously, nice one for you, Bournemouth. I don't know if you've got a ticket.
Well, I've got a ticket there now. There you go.
You've
I've got 3 actually.
Have you managed to get 3 tickets, Brian?
Ah, it's what you know, is it? Not what you know.
Is it because you used to work at Southampton?
No, nothing to do with that at all. But that will be coming up in a few weeks' time. Yeah.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
know how to go in the home end of the way, you know, but not because I'm going to support.
I think you should get me and Emma in there in the box for a meal and stuff.
Well, I actually had an email the other day from an hospitality guy asking if I wanted a box, but I didn't pursue it because I thought it was you know, like,
mate, like me and Emma will come and join you if you get sorted. That'd be nice.
Well, if we could all come together, we could get one company. Anyway,
no. They should be giving it to you for your years.
Yeah. They did, as you know, they did give me a really nice present as I left. Anyway, as Scott says, it is a difficult game. I mean, you have to hold your hands up there. I mean, they're 5th in the league. You know, I think they're a couple of points behind 4th place, or there's something like that. I mean, you have to admire them what they've done. And all this talk about Tottenham, you know, about we've got these all these players injured. You know, we've got 11 players. Do you know the other week, while they're on this brilliant run they've been on, they had 11 fit outfield players. They had all the subs. There was one obviously the goalkeeper, but the outfield players, there was 11 fit, and all the rest of the subs, apart from one of them and the goalkeeper, were from the academy. I mean, and they're still winning games, you know. I mean,
well, that's how to beat them. Get a few niggly fouls.
Yeah, well, I was asking my friends at Southampton to beat the crap out of them this weekend, but they didn't lay a glove on them, did they?
No.
You know, but anyway, so it's going to be very, very tough. I mean,
prediction.
And well, I'll come to this score. Do you remember that? Do you know the last time I can remember when we played consecutive weekends against the same side, a league game and a cup game?
Well, no, we played Brentford very close last year.
We did, but this was like consecutive Saturdays.
And they were beginning with a B away from home as well.
Yeah. No, but it was actually when Bully was playing. It was against Watford. I went to both games, and we won. I can't remember which way around it was. I think the cup game we won 3-0 or 3-1, and then the following week we played them in the league, and the result was the other way around. We got beat 3-0 or 3-1. You know, so if that was the case, what would you take? Would you take a win in the league or a win in the cup?
Don't even go there with which one will I take, because I want win both. League or Cup, it's like, we'll have both, thanks very much.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I got 3 tickets, my son and obviously my grandsons live in Bournemouth, you know, so with the 3 of us are going, 3 generations, and we're on the front row. We're on the front row because Freddie's only small, and if people stand up in front of him, he's not going to see a thing. So I managed to get seats on the front row, and so we may, you know, may
They haven't got to travel too far, have they?
Yeah, when Puna completes his hat trick and comes over to celebrate, you know, we might be on the TV. You know, so,
I'm
yeah.
loving it.
But
Have you got a score prediction? Because you seem to be skirting around this score prediction,
yeah,
Brian.
Score prediction. I'm gonna.
You're still trying to avoid it, Brian.
We're gonna lose 2-0. We're gonna lose 2-0. Reverse logic, there. It's reverse logic.
Reverseology. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we'll go to M, who we have actually got tickets for Bournemouth next week. We got in the ballot, surprisingly enough, because we ain't gold or silver season ticket holders. We have got loads of points because we go to pretty much every game. But like, they're not taking on any more gold or silver season ticket holders. They're whittling them down slowly. But we class ourselves as bronze. But we normally only goes to gold, so we couldn't believe when we had an email saying there's a ballot for Bournemouth, and we got in the ballot. So we're going. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking? I think it's a really, really tough game. I think we absolutely can win it, but the key to winning it is we've got to perform for 90 minutes. We've seen longer and longer periods where we are performing under Pereira, but we've not seen, you know, I mean, I think Villa was pretty solid performance all round, but that's at home.
Yeah, but
going away to Bournemouth,
second half we were a bit. Yeah. It wasn't a full 90, was it?
Yeah, I think going away is really, really tough, but I don't think I'm supposed to give my prediction because they have to tune in on Wednesday, the Premier League prediction show.
Oh, yes. You'll have to tune in on Wednesday for
and find out how we did this week.
I think you don't even want to know, guys. Seriously. I don't even want to know because, like, I think I had Liverpool to beat Everton 2-1 on the Wednesday match. And then, of course, Everton scored in the 98th minute. So I'll go from 3 points to 0. Oh, and like she keeps saying, what is your score for this week? I got this one. I've got 3 bang on right. So I think I'm going to be in for an absolute tatering this week. But anyway, I'm getting used to it.
Is that any surprise? Doesn't that happen most weeks?
Yes. Yes. And next year, I've got an idea. We're going to have a fans one come in as well. So we're going to have, I reckon we could have a fan come on each week and represent the rest.
Guys, if you haven't watched our Premier League predictions show and you want to see me whop David Axe week in, week out on the predictions, tune in because it's hilarious.
It's always on a Wednesday. It's on a Wednesday afternoon, generally speaking, unless there's a midweek game. So tune in on Wednesday for that. I'm not really looking forward to this one, to be honest. I do need a bit of help. Anyway, so that is Bournemouth away. So now, guys, it is your turn to ask any questions. This is question corner. It could be a question for Boston Brian. It could be a question for Scott. It could be a question for Emma, or it could be a general question, or it should be a general question. So first one, we'll go with Brian. Should Wolves bring back the liquidator?
Should they or could they? I mean, we won't. You're not going to stop the foul language, or we do it every year at Chelsea. I think I filmed it for you, Dave, didn't I? When they were singing the liquidator at Chelsea this year. That's the only chance we get to sing it. But they won't bring it back. So because of West Brom.
Scott, do you have a view on it?
I would love to see it back on volume, but I think it's overused by a lot of clubs now. That's the only thing. And like Brian just said, baggies of it. So it's kind of tainted in a way. But
well, actually, on that point, I have to say this because I grew up in Darliston, Darliston. And it wasn't a 50-50 Baggies and Wolves. It was mainly Wolves fans there, But the Liquidator was played there first. It was. I
Played
know
where?
that for a fact.
Albion.
At the Albion.
Albion,
It was,
yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
It was,
Emma, have you got an opinion?
Absolutely no way should they bring it back.
Why?
Why? Inappropriate language. If we're going to have an anthem and sing a song, it needs to be about Wolves, not about our neighbours down the road.
See, I tend to agree because, like, they can sing F off Wanderers all they like in the Championship, and they just are so obsessed with us singing that. Why are we even bothered about them? It's like, why do we want to start every game thinking about them? They're nothing to us. They're like in the Championship. We're way above any of that sort of stuff. And like what Brian says, they sang it first anyway, so it's not our anthem.
Yeah.
I think
it ain't gonna happen.
I think football has made progress in respects of tolerance, appropriate behaviour, and how you conduct yourself at a football match, what we sing. And I think we've made progress in this, and I think the Liquidator is a step backwards.
Absolutely. I mean, Wolves should have a theme song for Wolves and nobody else. Well, interesting some stuff on that as well. Wonder of You is pretty much one that goes back right to the 50s and 60s, which they brought back, and it's although it's been pushed a little bit down the pecking order, people do sing along to that. My dad loves it, for example. And lots of people do get involved with that. They've got the what's his name, Robert Plant thing that they've bought in. They do
a lot of Wolves.
They do talk about this sort of stuff, but it is an interesting one. Like even Hi-O Silver Lining, I get that because it's sung by Sheffield Wednesday. Villa sing it as well, so it's an interesting one. But I can 100% tell you that the Liquidator is never coming. It's not coming back. It's been debated long and hard, and it's another one of these things with like the colour of the kit. It divides opinion. And you don't want to sing something that half the fan base don't want because it's divisive. You want something that brings everyone together. One Step Beyond should be good to play before the game. Interesting. That's a different one. Simply the Best in the 80s, I think it was played. So I mean, it's an interesting topic. Again, of course, Chelsea of it as well, of course. So I'd like to see something that's unique to Wolves. I think that's a fair comment. Right. So any other question? Have we got another questions? Have we got any other questions? Whilst I'm doing that, did anyone get the oh yeah, I found another one. Did anyone get the secret word? Jared says the prediction show's always a lot of fun. Carl wants to know how many points are we getting in the last 13 games? Quick round the table. Brian.
I can't work that out that quick.
Brian, it's a quick answer, mate. 13 games. How many points?
13.
You're getting 13 points. Okay, that would put us on 32.
And that'll be enough.
Scott?
10.
10 points would put us on 29. Emma?
Victor Pereira has been averaging 1.12 points per game.
Bloody
Gary
hell.
O'Neill had 0.56 or 0.59. So going off 1.12 points a game, and the fact that we should have some easier games and hopefully we will continue to improve, I'm going to go with 15 points.
50, put us on 34 points. And that answers Ellie's question. How many points do you think we'll finish on this season? I think we've answered that one. Jamie Hayden wants to know where, Scott, you can go with this one. Where do you expect Kuna to end up?
Oh, I don't think he'll go to somebody like United, just because I don't think United's appealing to anybody anymore.
Okay.
Arsenal, he would probably suit well going to them, and I think that's probably the more likely destination.
Interesting. Do you have an opinion on this, Brian?
Yeah, I think he suits us, doesn't he, at the moment? I mean, because when we signed him 2 years ago, we thought he was an out-and-out striker, and he's not an out-and-out striker. He's not a number 10 either, is he? He sort of drifts between the two, doesn't he? And out wide as well, So he's a great fit for the way we play, even under Gary O'Neill, but yes, particularly now under Vitor. He's a good fit for us, but he's not necessarily a good fit for everybody else. I mean, Arsenal, they just want an out-and-out goal scorer, don't they? It's a fox in the box, because they create so many chances. I mean, we got a lot of people criticising Larson for missing chances recently. The amount of chances that Havertz misses is unbelievable. But once again, he's not an out-and-out striker, is he? But he had to play there when he's out for the season now. But I mean, I don't know. I just hope he stays at Wolves.
I hope so. Emma, do you have a thought on where you think he'll end up?
I'd like to go to see. Put my false teeth in. Personally, just from my personal preference, I'd like him to go to one of the big teams in Europe, so I'm going to see him scoring week in and week out.
Yeah, and you never know, to be honest. I mean, they thought Neves was going in like 4 or 5 years in a row, and he never did. We've got entries for the word. Sarah says dandelion. Kitty Wolf says dandelion. Where do you think we'll finish in the league this season? Quickly, Emma first.
As long as it's not in the relegation zone, I don't care. And I'd really, really don't want to be going down to the last game and having to win.
So that didn't answer the question, did it really? Where do you think we'll finish?
Same place as we are today.
17, Scott?
I agree. I think he'll be 17th, but I do think he'll go down to the wire.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hope not. Brian?
Yeah, 17th. But because if you look at the, Everton have drawn away, haven't they? And there's a gap between us and whoever's there, United or whatever. And it's going to take, at this stage of the season, it's take an awful lot to get into that next little level. But I think we've got enough to get into 17th. But the three most important games we've got now against the bottom three, particularly Leicester.
It's a mini league, isn't it?
Those are the most important games because they're all six. Well, not so much Southampton, but if we can get 3 points at Southampton, it's great. But Ipswich and Leicester, they are 6 pointers, and we've got to win those games.
Absolutely. Yeah. Neil says dandelion and burdock.
Can I just say, I really, really want to stay up because I want to see what Pereira can do when he's not saddled with that opening of the season that he inherited from O'Neill.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I reckon we stay up if we beat everybody below us and we beat West Ham.
Loads of people are saying 17th as well. A couple 16th, Carl 17th. JS96 really not like doom and gloom. There's no way in a million years if we stay up this year, we're getting relegated next year. This team that we've got under Vitor Pereira, I think
too good to go down.
Well, it's not too good to go down because you can go down, but I just think we'll kick on. If we stay up, I think we'll kick on a lot next year.
I think the only reason why we're in the mess that we're in now is because our chairman didn't pull the trigger quick enough for signings.
Yeah.
Also, we got injuries in the one place we didn't want them. And we had a manager who wouldn't be brave at all. So when you add into the fact that we've got a manager who will be brave now, we've bought in signings, which we did need now, and we've got players who are going to come back from injury, like Mosquera, I reckon we are not in the same mess we've been in this season unless we have the same situation that we did with the board, chairman, and injuries like we have this season.
And I know people are saying that Kuna and Semedo will be gone. You know, Kuna may well be gone. He may well go. You know, he probably, you know, the odds are probably is. People were saying he was going to go in January. He's still here. And if he is going to go, it's going to cost someone £62.5 million. That's a lot of money. And that will give them a lot more time to actually do something. Semedo, there's still a chance that Semedo will sign a new contract yet. So
I reckon he's waiting to see where we finish. If Semedo sees that we're still a Premier League team, I reckon he'll sign.
There'll be a lot more than Semedo and Cunha go. But also, we've got to remember that, like you say, Yersa Mosquera will come back. We'll have a much stronger defence. Hugo Bueno will be back from playing in the Champions League as well. So people forget that young Pedro Lima, you know, all these young players think. And then obviously there's going to be players that are going to be brought in. So, and like under Vitor Pereira, he seems to know exactly what he wants. So I'd feel quite confident under Vitor Pereira that he seems to know what he wants and what he wants to bring in. You only got to look at Agbadou. Looks like a great signing. We haven't seen Giga yet, and obviously Manetzi looks a great signing as well. So, and these are the type of players that he wanted. So, the first thing that we've got to do is, well, when you say about cutting back the wages, JS96, Sarabia's on like nearly 100,000. He ain't going to be here next year. That's 100,000 off the wage bill straight away with Sarabia. And if Kuna goes, because he's probably paid more than him, that's nearly £200,000 a week off the wage bill just in two players. So that does free up a lot of revenue. But yeah, it's been really good. So look, those of you that guessed Dandelion, it was correct. I said Dandelion.
Did you get it in, David?
I said it got it in, yeah. Because I said it was like a flower stall on the pitch with dandelions popping up everywhere because we were on the attack. And what did you say, Emma?
Dandelion and burdock.
You said about dandelion and burger. Scott?
It was something to do with playing against Bournemouth. If we lose our heads like dandelions in the wind.
That was very good. I like that. And Brian?
It was because she's drinking his bad. It was dandelion and burdock. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just a little bit of fun, guys. Thank you ever so much. We've had more. Yeah, go on.
Before we go, have we got any news on Agba's injury?
No. I have tried to find out, but I don't know. They keep things very, very close to their chest. You seem to think it was serious yesterday.
Well, I did, but then I read something that it was muscular, not you know, like
tendon,
you know, like a tendon or anything like that, or an ACL or anything like that, you know. But and he did walk off, didn't he? He did walk off. So hopefully it's yeah, because I mean, it's just kind of looking at to lose him now. We've got this guy.
That would be typical. We get a defender in, and then he gets injured. That would be like everything that could go wrong. But let's
on that front though, Dave. So we've gone back to the game yesterday. When he went off and Santi come, as you know, I've been a quite fan of Santi's, although just lately he's been a little bit iffy, and I was a little bit worried that they might take us apart. But he actually played very well.
I think he looks better in the middle. Santiago Bueno. And he does out on, because Emma, when he played on the right hand side against Blackburn, he looked. I mean, he looks very suspect. Yeah, but he looks better in the middle, I think. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what's happening with Agbadou. I think lots of people really want to know. I suspect he won't be available for Bournemouth, but I think Vitor Pereira said that Agbadou at half time apparently had a muscle issue, but he never said, because that would have meant he wouldn't have come out in the second half. He just wanted to play. He was right by us and he looked in a lot of pain. So yeah, that's great. And I do want to say a big thank you to everyone that's hit the subscribe button tonight. That's helped. Matthew said, come on, let's get to 36k. We're not that far off, which is amazing. 12 million views. We're getting loads of people listen to the podcast back as well. A big thank you to all of you guys in the chat for joining in. It's been really, really respectful and fun tonight. Obviously, we're not always going to agree with everything, but I hope you found it a good show. A big thank you to Brian. Thank you for Scott for coming on. I know that Scott's has confirmed his availability to be part of the Always Wolves fan TV squad for the Content Creators Cup in aid of the foundation later on in the year. So that's great.
3 years on track now.
That will be 3 years. I think you're better in the defence than in the keeper. You did well in the keeper.
Yeah.
When you came out into the defence, we looked a bit better. Thankfully got through to the semis again. And Emma, you always know it's a special show when Emma comes on. So thank you for coming on. And thank you to Merv for his debut as second admin tonight. He's done a great chat. And in fact, he says on the chat, thanks, chat room, for not giving me much to do. We have got a nice bunch generally. And we've had over like 600 watching. So, you know, that says everything about the community that we've got here. Won't always agree, but we can always...
Dave, don't you want me to get my boots off the rusty nail?
Mate, I reckon you could come and be a commentator. I think you could be a commentator.
I could be the coach.
We've got a coach.
Okay.
I'll
be an assistant.
You can come and be an assistant.
I can be the man with a bucket and a sponge.
We need somebody to film some content for it because some of the games are incredible to watch back. I'm sure they are.
Yeah, we do need some videographers to cover.
Oh, I could borrow my son's fancy camera. His i360, I think it's called. It's brilliant thing.
Yeah, well, we need videographers for that because we have two pot A and pot B going on simultaneously. So 2 sides, and it's at Compton. And I think we had over how many spectators last year?
Just loads.
About 250 came to watch.
And we had all the Wolves flags as well. And that looked beautiful.
Oh yeah, the old gold pack did a great job with the flags. So it's going to be September the 6th this year. So make sure that you put that into your diary. September the 6th.
I would have literally just got off the plane.
You would have just
summer holiday.
Where are you going?
Turkey.
And when do you get off the plane?
I think come back on 4th.
Well, that's all right then. I'll just have to make sure there's any practice games, because you're not there. You got to get in the team, mate. So, but look, when we said about this fair weather training, you never invited us, did you? Fantastic. But
there's more tennis courts than football pitches at this hotel.
I like my tennis courts. We have, all the main podcasts and channels have all committed along with the foundation and stuff. Might be a bit bigger this year as well. So, fantastic. Listen, guys, thanks ever so much for joining us tonight. Much appreciated. Thanks, Emma. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Brian. From all of us to all of you, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.
See you, folks.